Welcome back to Rated Radio with your hosts, Lexi Ray and S-Dub. If you're new here, we're about to rate something the kids are listening to these days. But before we get into the artist matchup you came for, we're going to do some of the storytelling in the middle to keep things interesting. So be sure to like and subscribe, give us 5 stars or whatever. Basically let us know how we're making your day less dull. And with that, Shane, what billboard did we cover this week, or what we were dumb enough to cover this week?
Stub does not know because you had his paper.
You say that every time.
Should I?
It was as it was.
I ever tell you I'm thinking about changing my legal name?
Are you really?
To Virgo Wordsworth.
You're full of shit. No, you're not.
The song
so
you picked
dumb.
for Billboard was As It Was by Harry Styles.
And what did you think of it?
I won't pretend to know anything about One Direction, but I imagine there's more of that pop element here than is common in what I've heard of Styles' solo music. Nonetheless, the stellar melody work, relaxing delivery, and subdued, almost watery sound of the recording all lend themselves to a track I'd ultimately award 5 stars. And while it's not my favorite thing, thanks to its vague, meandering lyrics and almost too same as the rest refrain, I continue to enjoy hearing it, so bravo, Harry.
Yeah, bravo, Harry. This bubbly Art Deco track is great for all forms of movement. The song is motion in a bottle, with Styles' voice cradling it throughout the duration. And I went like this, as I said, cradle.
She's cradling balls.
I am. I don't know why. Anyway.
You'd give it 5 stars?
I would. No, I don't know anything about One Direction either. But I do dig some of Harry's solo stuff. So bravo, Harry.
Roll the intro. Who first?
Let's do Good Charlotte first.
All right. Would go ahead and mention that neither of these artists were in our jam jar.
Nope. These were... Well, I picked Fall Out Boy, and Good Charlotte was paired with them, so I had to. I was forced.
Already showing preferential treatment.
If I would have chose who Fall Out Boy would have gone against, I really was hoping for All American Rejects. But it's Good Charlotte today. We still got good stuff going on here. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I have to say that I think your age was showing a bit when I saw some of this album picks.
Yeah,
I was fully anticipating the debut from Good Charlotte, but that's not where we started.
Nope.
We started with The Young and the Hopeless from 2002. This was my top album.
This was also my top album.
Out of the 14 tracks, I gave 9 5s.
I gave 8 5s.
My top track was Say Anything.
My top track, I was torn between Emotionless and My Bloody Valentine.
Emo through and through.
Yes, that is me.
Bottom track, A New Beginning.
Same.
This alt-pop disc is one I've emotional ties to, so I'll try ignoring my bias. It's shockingly mid in a lot of ways, and clearly thinks of itself as belonging in the punk genre, which it does not. Lyrically, it hasn't aged well for me either, but I still enjoy its sonic bombast, its tender moments, its attempts at genuine depth, and its unexpected variety. While I wouldn't call it an essential listen, I do think it's ideal for young people looking to broaden their taste in music.
Hot takes. Charlotte's fast-paced...
This is my favorite album of all time.
No, fuck off. Charlotte's fast-paced punk alternative direction, just because something is fast-paced does not make it punk. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. So it reflects well on the music made popular like this at the time, containing hidden slow jams like Hold On or Emotionless that hold a ton of youthful heart, while other tracks like the popular anthem or the title track, which opts more for a rushed production. Even though Madden is not the greatest singer, his vocal styles add a certain charm to their music.
That Hold On had some of the chutzpah on it.
Hold on. I've been watching a lot of 1883, and the girl in it, she water, and it's just been killing me.
I've not thought about that. I guess I don't know if I was hearing her voice. I wonder why that might be.
Oh, because you had a boner for her.
Lord. The second album we covered was the Chronicles of Life and Death, Life version from 2004. I almost thought you were cheating here and trying to sneak in extra tracks. And then I realized, nope, right out of the gate, they released 2 versions.
Yes, they did.
This was my middle album.
This is my bottom album.
Out of the 16 tracks, I gave 11 5s.
I gave 6 5s.
My top track was a toss-up between Mountain and Walk Away, but I would also say that In This World is also something that goes pretty damn hard.
I really thought you were going to go with the I Wasn't Enough song. I thought that you might have had a personal connection with that song.
What are you trying to say, goddammit?
That you have a very fractured relationship with your father.
Oh.
That's what it's about, is it not? One of the songs, and I believe it wasn't enough. That's my top track, so I don't know.
All these sad dad songs you like, what the hell? My bottom track was Wounded.
And my bottom track was Once Upon a Time, The Battle of Life and Death. They're not doing good with these album intros. Both of the albums that we've covered so far, I have not liked the way that the album starts straight out the gate.
I felt the intro to this one okay. It was okay. Apart from some power chord reliance, this album is a big step forward musically. The drums alone are blissfully complex, but I feel like a 12-year-old wrote the lyrics, and the vocals have a tendency towards sameness, which I don't dig. So while I love the darker alternative direction, most fives end up being bottom of the barrel variety, forgettable on the whole outside of those few undeniable bangers.
Charlotte's inspiration is lacking a bit here, with the exception of their new anti-attitude. I'm not sure what passion is here, but this could have easily been B-side material for the sake of getting it out. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy some stuff here, but the album as a whole is a bit lackluster.
And the last album we covered was Good Morning Revival from 2007. This was my bottom album.
This was my middle album.
And I would say that it was really difficult for me to choose top, middle, and bottom for this artist.
You're making fun of my emo heart.
I'll throw that out there. I just meant they all had something different.
Yeah.
Out of the 13 tracks, I gave 9 5s.
I gave 6 5s.
Top track, Break Apart Her Heart.
Top track, Something Else.
Bottom track, Good Morning Revival.
Same. Again.
This was my least favorite intro.
It's the intro to the album.
This is the most mature of the 3 albums we covered. I don't find the instrumental work quite as impressive as Chronicles, nor is the concept as engaging and memorable as Young and the Hopeless. It also starts and ends with weaker material, but the lyrical cheese is reduced for the most part here. The vocals are nicely varied, and the band is tighter in more places than they've been before. With the inclusion of danceability and even a guest spot by Avenged Sevenfold, I tend to respect this disc. Could easily have been a dud. It isn't.
Opting for a more electronic dance rock sound here, Charlotte amps it up a little bit more, and they sound a little bit more like a mixture of Maroon 5 and Fall Out Boy. Production value is on full display, and while I can appreciate the way they creatively make music, this ultimately is one of those electronic pop punk directions that really isn't for my demographic.
Their music makes me feel like I'm reading good books at a 6th grade reading level.
No surprise. The music makes me feel like I am shopping at the mall in the early 2000s. More specifically, Hot Topic.
Okay.
Just going to get me some jelly bracelets, man.
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess you have some things to say.
I do. Just a couple, though. Not too much. So for those of you that don't know, Good Charlotte was created by 2 twin brothers, Benji and Joel Madden, whose actual last name is Combs. They didn't like it.
Good on y'all.
Yeah. Joel, who's the lead...
going down?
Joel, the lead singer, is actually married to Nicole Richie, whose father is the famous Lionel Richie and has 2 children, Harlow and Sparrow. And then Benji Madden, do you know who he's married to? He's the lead guitarist. Do you know who he's married to?
No.
Well, the fucking Cameron Diaz, and they have 2 kids. Two boys. And each twin each twin has a son named after a bird. One is Robin and the other is Sparrow, I think.
I'm telling you, I don't think the world values complexity as much as I would have thought. They like simplicity. Mm-hmm. It's pretty clear. Is that all you were going to say?
I was going to say that they were formed in 1995, and the name Good Charlotte is actually comes from the book Good Charlotte by Carol Beach, and that's all I have to say.
It.
Yeah.
Okay.
I toned it down for the sake of time.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
I remain of the opinion that Good Charlotte is decent. They're definitely much more consistently solid than I was expecting. They have a knack for chorus bombast, and the musical foundation of the Chronicles album really is special on the whole. So while much of the poppiness bores me and the lyrics can feel simple, I can't argue that I'm confused by Good Charlotte's finding an audience. Still, overall, they feel like music I'd listen to in my teenage years, then rarely revisit. Primarily memorable because the Joel Madden-Hillary Duff argument refuses to die.
What argument? Were they together?
Uh-huh.
Did I miss that?
When she was 16 and he was 24, 25.
Oh, yikes.
So there's a lot of stuff going around on the internet, but the parents were completely behind this for one, and they are...
There are pictures of Hillary Duff sucking her ex's dick when he proposed to her on the internet.
Yeah. I'm actually glad
on a balcony.
You chose this matchup because I wound up seeing Hillary Duff naked as a result, and that was pleasant.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But no, apparently they have always remain really good friends. Their spouses, they're all best friends. They live next door to each other.
Joel and Hillary?
Yep.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm going to have to, I follow her on Instagram, and I'm going to have to pay more attention because I guarantee you they do things together. I think maybe their kids went to like a toddler time together. A bunch of celebrities got their kids together, and she was one of them. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway.
So, yeah,
it's what I do in my spare time.
I expected you, of all people, you're usually on the edge of the knife with this sort of stuff, but I see it all the time. Big statutory arguments, big things that come up. This is a mainstay in what people talk about and celebrities, grooming culture, and all that sort of stuff, which I think is a real thing.
Yeah.
Celebrities, grooming culture is a real thing. I don't think that their relationship is an example of that.
Yeah.
That having been said...
It's not a Demi Lovato, Wilmer Valderrama sort of situation.
That's not to say it's not questionable.
Yeah.
I would definitely say 25 to 16-year-old. It's questionable. 20 years from then, it wouldn't be...
It wouldn't matter as much. Yeah, I know.
But 16 is still pretty young. It's quite young.
By the way, on an unrelated note, did you hear the juice expired?
Yes, I did.
Sorry, any excuse to make that joke. I sent it to Blue with a screenshot of what OJ died, for those of you that don't know.
The juice has expired.
All I sent him was a screenshot of OJ dies at blah, 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 blah after a long battle with cancer. And all I just wrote was, the juice has expired. Blue was like, I hate you. And
now every celebrity can actually come out and say that, yes, OJ was guilty. He no longer can come at us. So
he literally wrote, if I would have done it, this is how I would have done it.
Yeah.
When are you guys going to figure it out?
Let's take a break. What was your list this time around?
Songs about money.
What's your story?
Money, please.
My song choice is Money, Money, Money by ABBA. Yes, I know my coworker. Yes, I know my co-host is happy to know that I chose an ABBA song to talk about this episode. But the reason why I chose this song is because recently, out of nowhere, unprovoked, I visited my other side of the family, my spouse's side of the family. And out of nowhere, my almost 15-year-old nephew, who is very straight, very girl crazy, I have said the words, "You're a horny teenager" to him before, came up to me and said, "Hey, Lexi, I was wondering, Mom's been talking about like this movie, and I've been like really into this artist that you put on my my music player." And I was like, yeah. And I was like, who is it? And he was like, it's ABBA. You like ABBA? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I was wondering, we should all get together and watch Mamma Mia together. And I was like, totally. Like, just tell me when. But I had to choose this song just because I was like, my 15-year-old fucking nephew. Never in a world did I think that my 15-year-old nephew would be walking up to me saying, hey, I want to watch Mamma Mia with you, after finding a new love of ABBA music. So
I thought you were going to say that you had a suspicion that there's someone in the film that he thinks is really hot, so he's okay with watching it?
He will. He's going to totally love Amanda Seyfried in that movie.
So give him the option of watching Mamma Mia or Showgirls and see which one he picks.
How about no? You sound like his uncle. Absolutely not. We'll stick with Mamma Mia. We'll dip our toes in the water.
Can you guess my pick?
About
story time?
Money?
Songs about money?
Money by Pink Floyd.
High Rollers by Ice-T.
Yeah.
When I consider the earliest memories... Okay, go ahead.
Speed of light. Fast.
See?
It's like walking barefoot over broken glass.
When I consider the earliest memories of my uncles, there are two things that come to mind. Mike's military marching chants, which I used to mimic to everyone's amusement, and Eric constantly busting through the front door in the mornings rapping the verse. It's the intro, right? Rapping the first verse of Ice-T's High Rollers.
He still does it.
And I feel like both of those things made an impact on me, which can't be overstated. They taught me rhythm and love of music, as well as giving me the impression that it's okay to have fun, even while practicing some form of discipline. I made friends quite easily as a child simply by adding unique energy to the room, the way my uncles were always doing. And I don't doubt that there are still a few friends I had back then who would, to this day, either start laughing or be unable to stop themselves finishing out the verse if anyone ever whipped out some speed of light, fast on them. Those friends who stayed over on Friday nights unaware that Eric was going to show up on Saturday morning, making up nicknames, eating whole boxes of cereal out of mixing bowls, and putting on a cappella music shows at random. Genuinely good times.
You know, this was on my birth mix. High Rollers and I Am Your Pusher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he still does that.
You're his daughter, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Let's go talk about Fall Out Boy.
Let's talk about Fall Out Boy.
So the first album we covered was From Under the Cork Tree. Oh, I had something... I had something I initially wanted to say. I felt almost triggered when I saw these picks as well, because when I think about three Fall Out Boy albums that I feel like most everyone's going to know, Save Rock and Roll wouldn't be there. It would be American Beauty, American Psycho.
Agreed. I wanted to do American Beauty, American Psycho, but I would feel that I would be doing, at least for the first episode that we covered by Fall Out Boy, I would be doing a huge disservice if I didn't do Save Rock and Roll, because that's when they came back into the fold after a hiatus. So I don't believe there was an album between Infinity on High and Save Rock and Roll. That's what I don't think so.
First album we covered was From Under the Cork Tree.
Fucking asshole.
From 2005. This was my middle pick.
This is my top album.
Out of the 13 tracks, I gave 7 fives.
I gave 8 fives.
Top track, Sugar We're Going Down.
A little less 16 Candles, a little more Touch Me.
Bottom track, Nobody Puts Baby in the Corner.
I like that one. It's got to be Sophomore Slump or Comeback of the Year.
This punk pop meets emo album gets points for energy and varied harmonies, but I still find myself put off by the pretentious lyricism in most places. It can often feel like AI meets bad poetry in a blender and sometimes turns a song with an instrumental 5 into a 4. Much of it just feels like an endless rant, failing to connect with me emotionally. Much like the gimmicky song titles, it wastes energy where it doesn't matter.
Speaking of long song titles, am I right? Anyway, not quite their debut album, but
like 'em long.
But it was one of, if not their first to be critically acclaimed. Fall Out Boy brings us a fast-paced alternative rock pop vibe that definitely takes me back to being a misunderstood 14-year-old again. Stump's vocals paired with Pete and Andy's bass and drums are a well-oiled machine perfect for their lonesome wallflower aesthetic.
The next album we covered was Infinity on High from 2006. This was my bottom album.
This was also my bottom album.
Out of the 14 tracks, I gave 5 fives.
I also gave 5 fives.
Top track was Thanks for the Memories.
My top track was Hum Hallelujah.
Bottom track was Golden.
My bottom track was Infamy Over Fame.
Okay.
I guess that's what you would call it.
Yeah. Same pros and cons here. This one's a bit dancier, though. Also, the sound of the rhythm keeping is often feeling somewhat stale, just too monotonous. What's also rather monotonous are Stump's vocals. Don't twist that. He's got excellent vocal control, but his style is predictable, atop being recognizable. So, not my favorite LP ever, clearly.
You know a vibe I get from you. We're only on the second album, but... And don't take offense to this, I mean it as a compliment. You are, to me, in relation to this band, I think inside you're Pete, and outside you're Patrick.
I don't know what that is.
Pete is the...
I know what Patrick is. He's SpongeBob's best friend.
Shut up, Shane. Stomp.
Pete,
you're Patrick Stomp.
Oh brother dudes.
No, Pete! No, you're... Pete Wentz on the inside, you're Patrick Stump on the outside. So you're not as dark outside, but Pete Wentz is the leader, he's the poet. And Patrick is like the front man, the executioner. So, I don't know. I feel like, to me, you're a weird combination of both Wentz and Stump.
You're calling this poetry. Okay.
They're Oh, come on.
What did
You
you
remember
think?
that track where it was just like Pete doing slam poetry at the end of one of the albums?
No.
Okay.
I haven't
right.
listened to a whole lot of this group.
I
to
haven't
be
either.
honest. And I know the hits.
I never listened to Infinity on High, like in its entirety. And most of Save Rock and Roll.
Okay.
Adding a bit more metal bass and drums here, while I think most of this still lands, some tracks just get plain weird with it. They are for sure having a fun time experimenting here, but ultimately it doesn't land with me.
And the last album we covered was Save Rock and Roll from 2013. As much as I wanted to give you shit, this was my top album.
This is my middle album.
Out of the 11 tracks, I gave 11 fives.
I gave it 7 fives.
7-11.
Yes.
Got it. Top track was Miss Missing You.
My top track was Save Rock and Roll.
Bottom track was Young Volcanoes.
My bottom track was The Phoenix.
To state the obvious, calling this rock and roll would be a stretch for many listeners. Plenty of the fives are low-hanging fruit, and the lyricism is still reliably random drivel in many spots. But this disc was a real surprise, too. They add soundbite flair, differ the effects, and experiment in a lot of winning ways. While I'm not sure anything here matches the unique rock anthem status I'd afford to, Sugar We're Going Down, the fact is that this remains a fun disc to vibe or dance to. High-ish praise.
High-ish. All right. Hello, collabs. Welcome, Courtney Love, Big Sean, and Elton John. After a 5-year hiatus, Fallout Boy...
I forgot about the guest spots.
Fallout Boy comes back in a big way, with their grander budget definitely going for it by making their version more epic, fun, and inspiring. Fallout Boy is all grown up, and so is the noise that they make.
Their music makes me feel like I'm hearing a tight and talented band perform at a nonsensical beat poetry theater performance.
Beat poetry. There you go.
Yeah.
A couple things I want to say about the band that I just thought were weird fun facts. Pete Wentz, who is the bassist of the band, he actually discovered Panic at the Disco. They're all still very close to this day. If you are looking for a little bit of entertainment and want to see a drunk dumbass Brendan Urie explain the history of Fall Out Boy as they sit idle getting tattoos, go to YouTube and type in the history of Fall Out Boy, and it makes for a good, interesting 15 minutes.
I'll add it to the mentions playlist.
Thank you. I was hoping you would. The drummer, Andy, has over 2,600 tattoos, and Patrick Stump's dad is actually a folk musician by David Stump, but Patrick Stump's last name actually has an H on the end. He removed it when he became famous. So you may not find him if you just type in Stump, add an H on the end. And Patrick was originally the drummer before Andy came along. He can play various music, and it was only until he needed to step in as a vocalist that they decided that that was a better place for him to be for the band.
I should mention, before we finish out here, that I don't believe the lyricism is always an issue for this group. In fact, there's an album by Fall Out Boy, which we didn't cover, that often wins so heavily in terms of emotional intelligence that I wrote an entire chapter of Hopeless Oceans while listening to one of its songs. There's also no denying they've had tremendous success in a number of genres and with their respective audiences. I also like how self-aware they seem with lines like, "Are you ready for another bad poem?"
Ouch.
It's just that the last thing I want anything pop related to do is fail to touch or move me lyrically.
Okay.
And I got a lot of that from this group, even though I thought musically they were like super talented and tight.
Yeah. They just weren't quite there. They were missing the last part.
And there are a lot of groups you could point to that, you know, they release an album and it only has one hit, one thing worth listening to. I haven't done the deep dive on Collective Soul, but I feel like Collective Soul is one of those types of groups.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of them out there like that. And I wouldn't put Fall Out Boy in that category, so.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask who took it for you this month.
So Good Charlotte had 5 more tracks than Fall Out Boy. So they're at a slight advantage, but it was Good Charlotte.
Okay. All right.
Would have been Good Charlotte even if the numbers were even.
Well, I'm going to come out and say that this came down to 0.08 difference. Exact same number of 5s. And Fall Out Boy ultimately pulled it out. Now,
check this out. 4.56 and 4.58.
See?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's a good matchup.
Yeah, I think ultimately my whole vision of doing Fall Out Boy and All American Rejects, I don't know that we would have come out with the same outcome. So it's nice to be able to have it be so close.
Yeah.
And what that means to me is it was a good month. It was a good month of rating music, and
I took quite a bit away from this that I didn't know beforehand. That's always a positive in my book. Mm-hmm. So, who's next? I don't know. Again, this is a surprise to me, and I'm admittedly terrified. It's actually
you don't like not having control.
It's not necessarily that.
You don't know.
It's just we're locked into this. You know what I mean? It's not like
you want to leave, motherfucker.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I've been thinking about like how cool would it be if between every normal episode we did like just 5 random albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to think up new
We're
episode
brainstorming
structures
here. Welcome.
I don't know who we are. Go ahead.
All right. So listen in next month where we are going to be covering some female powerhouses at the moment.
Oh, God.
We're going to be covering Lizzo versus Megan Thee Stallion. So the albums that we're going to be covering by Lizzo are Lizzo Bangers from 2014, 'Cause I Love You from 2019, and Special from 2022. And then from Megan Thee Stallion, we're going to be covering Make It Hot from 2017, Sugar from 2020, and Something for the Hotties from 2021. Tune in next month for all that ass.
I'm excited.
Good, you should be.
I've always wanted to listen to Lizzo.
Good.
I know next to nothing
Mm-hmm.
about her music.
Okay.
I've heard quite a bit of Megan Thee Stallion, so...
She's Prince's protege in addition to Janelle Monáe, so...
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. So get ready for some weirdness and some funk. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. But that's going to do it for now. Hit up our playlists, visit our shop, and come find us online to get your voice on the show. Until next time, fill your world with music.
And hopefully, no more bad poetry next time.